Well, folks, here we are in the backyard, March 7th, 2023. So it's not springtime yet. Things really get kicking around here about the beginning to the middle of May, it seems. That's when it's safe to really start planting stuff so you don't have frost or anything. It's going to kill something. But I've been doing a little work back here, pruning a little stuff, getting, a little bit of stuff ready. I still got to thin all these things out in these buckets here. I just lit the fire pit up there. That stump right there, that's from that 3-foot stump. That's from my purple robe locust that blew over during a violent windstorm. I want to get the stump out of there and plant a new tree there. I've been keeping the leaves raked up this year because despite what people say online about leaving the leaves on the grass, it's good for it. I did that last year and it smothered my grass and it had a real problems getting going. It had a lot of bare spots. So I'm not going to do that again. I've been keeping the leaves up. Nice big old cherry tree, real healthy tree. You can see it's just starting to get some, or actually it's got buds on it. Not sure when they'll start blooming, but they're on there. And I did go ahead and prune my trees. Now I'm not an arborist, so I tried to do the best I could. This apple tree was getting pretty tall. And the problem is when it gets fruit on the top, the branches will literally bend down. And my pear tree was getting really tall too. And this is a grafted multi-species pear tree, so it's got 3 different varieties of pear. And the Asian pears, and I forget what the other ones are. They're the smaller ones. They're on the bottom. They do great. But up top, it's the great big pears, and they put a lot of weight on there. Pull the branches down. So I pruned it. After I pruned it, I did have a guy that used to work for an arborist come back here and take a look at it. He said I did a pretty good job. He suggested maybe like this branch right here, cutting it right there. That one over there, cutting. He says to cut them down a little lower. You really don't want your trees like above 8 feet tall, he said. That way they'll bush out, they'll grow healthy, and you can pick all your fruit. But I think I'm going to leave it. I think I pruned them enough for right now. We'll wait till we get some fruit on it. I know this one here. I know this whole section should be cut here. But I'm going to lose a whole lot of tree in the middle. Because it's close. It's not rubbing yet. But it is close right there. And I know you don't want any branches like that. So the arborist guy said, let it go another season, keep an eye on it, see if we can get some more growth, and then if you need to, you can cut it later. He said it's not going to hurt anything to leave it for now. Still got a lot of leaves and stuff, but I'm working on it, getting everything cleaned up here, getting everything pruned and cut down. I'm going to see what to do about the grapevines. I need to read about that to see if I should just leave them or prune them or what to do. I'll check that out. There's Bird Village. Bird Village is hanging in there. The wind doesn't affect Bird Village. I mean, once in a while a birdhouse might get knocked off, but other than that, it's pretty sturdy. I'll get my blower out here and I got to blow all this stuff out of here. Got to blow out all these rocks. Probably thin this out a little bit. I think this is it's either, I think that one's a jasmine, I believe. I think that one's the honeysuckle, or vice versa, who knows. There's my cottonwood tree there, or my chair. Some guy carved it there. Of course, everything up here has been cut back. This big Mexican grass, it'll grow back and get real big. There's my goat. I am going to come back here and take this cactus out of here. It's pretty much worthless. The dogs just get stickers in it, and it's so bad the tortoises really don't even mess with it. If they do, they get little thorns in their eyes and stuff. So I'm just going to get rid of that altogether. I'm thinking this stump here, I brought this back from Oregon. Hollowed out stump. The wife had an idea of putting a couple like orange reflectors in there, small reflectors, and having a small solar light in there to reflect it, so at night it looks like there's an owl or something in there. We might still do that. I'm kind of thinking just filling it up with a good potting soil and just planting something in there to let it grow out the front and the top. We'll figure it out. And here's my peach tree. This peach tree here, I think it's on its third year, I want to say, second or third year. I do get really pretty blossoms off of it, but haven't got any fruit yet. Maybe this year we'll get some, maybe not to next year, not sure. The only thing I've pruned on it is just the lower branch down there. Leave everything else alone. It's got to get bigger. When I planted it, it was probably only about 2 feet tall, so it's, you know, it's a good 6.5 feet tall now, so it's definitely grown. Just needs a little while longer. Of course, there's the owl right there, and there's that stump I got to pull out. I got to figure out how to get the stump out of here. It's actually still alive. Those little suckers right there will actually bloom in the spring. So when the tree went down, I made sure to leave about 3 feet on it so I can try to muscle it around and get it out of there. I'd like to get that all the way out of there and put a new tree in its place. We'll have to see. It's really solid. It doesn't budge, so I'll have to see what to do about that. Got these buckets back here. Everything back here is on drip irrigation. I plant sunflowers here every year and put some dandelion seeds in there so I can feed those to my tortoises. But I think I'm going to get rid of these or move them somewhere else. I'm going to build like something behind here, like maybe a little retaining wall or something about the same height as the old log here, and just fill it in. I've got a whole trailer full of triple mix topsoil, potting soil. I'm thinking of filling that in and planting something nice in there, you know, actually be in the ground or instead of those buckets. And this is all flowers and stuff. I gotta go ahead and take all this out of here and clean all this up and decide what I'm gonna put in here this year. I'm thinking hollyhocks might go in here. I've got a lot of hollyhock seeds from the hollyhocks that grew in my front yard last year, and they're real pretty, and they'll get way above the fence. So I'm thinking that might be hollyhocks, and I'll fill that up with some of that real good topsoil I got, or actually it's potting soil. You know, this ivy here, this is on its 4th year, and that's all it's grown in 4 years. It's starting to get there, but it's been a real slow grower up here. I don't know if it's because it's constantly in the shade on this side of the shed or what, but it started off with 2 little tiny like 4-inch pots of ivy I planted. I think that's from not this year, but last year, Christmas time, one of those little tiny potted, you know, Christmas trees you buy at Walmart. It was on clearance for a few bucks, so I grabbed it, put it in there. It's actually healthy, doing all right. Once it gets too big, it'll have to go on the ground or somewhere. I do have some more river rock I'm going to bring back here and do something with. There's my fountain. Of course, it's off for the winter. But once it warms up here, I'll got a new pump for it. I'll put a new pump in it and hook it all back up. And that I let that run all season long. I just shut it off during the winter. Because if I keep it running all winter, it's actually so cold it'll freeze as it's coming out, and it'll just overflow and empty itself and burn the pump out. These are all perennials. They'll come back. All this stuff here should come back. All these come back. These are all perennials I have. All this stuff here. I did plant the ornamental grass type stuff like I have down here. You cut these back, and these will be, 6 feet tall before you know it. I forget exactly what they're called, but a lot of people up here refer to them as like a Mexican grass, but they actually have have a name. I just forget. But these pots dry out from the sun pretty bad, even though they're on drip too. So last year I just threw some of those in there and they grew like crazy. You can see they're already getting new shoots there. I don't know if I'm going to leave them in this year. Maybe pull all that out, put new dirt in, and maybe put something else in there, something a little more colorful. I'm really not sure. But yeah, the grass pretty much goes dormant in the wintertime, unfortunately. But it'll be emerald green real deep here in the spring, summertime. Just doesn't look too appealing in the winter. And this guy here, it's made it all winter long. This is a periwinkle. It's a perennial. It's hanging on there. These are Snapdragons. They're annuals, so if I leave them, they'll probably grow from the seed, but I'll probably, I don't know, probably put something else in there. These were marigolds. Those are annuals. Those were, really don't remember. This stuff's all made it through the winter in the snow. I think they're like cosmos and different types of flowers in there, and I'm going to have tons of marigold seeds in there that'll just, you know, automatically reseed themselves. There's another periwinkle. It makes it all year. I mean, we've been down maybe about 10-15 degrees a few nights, and it holds in there pretty good. Snapdragons, I'll probably pull those out, do something else. I'm not sure what's in that bucket, but I'll cut all those back, and before you know it, they'll spring right back up. That's what I did last year. There's another periwinkle in that bucket over there. Climbing roses, they'll green up and they'll get going here before long. There's the OCB antenna. I really don't crank it up anymore. I just leave it at its lowest point and talk skip all over the country on it. If I want to talk, you know, 40, 50, 60 miles away local, it makes a big difference if you raise it, but I really don't talk to any of these local guys anymore. Just get on there and talk skip, so I just leave it alone and it works well. So the penetrator SPT 500, it's really held up well in the wind. It's a sturdy antenna. But that's about it back here. Looks like my wood's just smoldering. Might have to do something to get it actually burning. Got some of the clippings from the apple tree in there and some of my lodgepole pine. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to. It got pretty wet from the snow. All right, folks, that's what we got going on. Y'all be good. Catch you later on in the springtime.